Welcome back. A new book explains the physics of soccer, not just for science buffs, but for those who play the game. Dr. Deji Badiru is an engineer at the United States Air Force Institute of Technology in Dayton, Ohio. His new book is called The Physics of Soccer, Using Math and Science to Improve Your Game. With over 40 years of experience as a soccer player and coach, Dr. Badiru uses his extensive knowledge of science and engineering to break down the core principles and teach you to play like a superstar. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm very well. Good morning, Karen.
Good
glad to
morning.
Be here.
Let's first talk about your career in soccer. Tell us where you played, what position you played, and tell us about that part of your life.
I was born in Nigeria, so originally from Nigeria. I started playing in Lagos, Nigeria when I was about 10 years old. I am 57 now, so which means I've been with this game for a long, long time.
You're still a young man.
Thank you so much. I came to the U.S. in 1975. Prior to coming to the U.S., I played in high school, St. Finbar's College in Nigeria, which was one of the soccer powerhouses in Nigeria at that time. At the Tennessee Technological University in Tennessee, I played college soccer. I played center forward, which was one of the premier positions in soccer. I played there for 3 years. Upon graduation, I started my graduate degree studies at University of Central Florida in Orlando. So I started playing club soccer. So I played in several clubs in Orlando.
What made you decide to make a connection between science, specifically physics, and the game of soccer?
It actually started when I was in high school, playing in high school, where our principal at St. Finbar's College was a Reverend Father who also strongly believed in the implication of science in everything we did. So he always said, on the soccer field, you think like a scientist, because that's essentially what it was. And I've kept that in mind all along. Eventually, when I became an educator, I always think of how to bring that message of thinking like a scientist to everything that.
Now let's get to the nutshell, the basics of it. How do you use physics to improve your soccer game? Everybody's very excited now about the World Cup and watching all the World Cup games on TV. How can players use physics to improve their game?
The most important thing to remember is that there's something called Newton's laws of motion. Everything about soccer has to do with motion. The laws of motion are essentially the key elements of how you use soccer, use science and physics in soccer. So on the soccer field, what you have to do to play like a superstar is to think of everything that is going on the soccer field, the wind speed, the friction on the grass, the positions of other players in terms of triangulation. If you want to pass the ball, how far you have to kick the ball to make sure that the teammate gets the ball in the proper position.
You even suggest that humidity and moisture on the field and the force of collision between player and player also has an impact as well.
Definitely it does. And a good example is to look at the soccer ball. We all look at the soccer ball as just an object of playing the game. But there are three essential properties of a soccer ball that are important. The weight of the soccer ball, the size, the dimensions of the soccer ball, and the pressure inside the soccer ball. In fact, when you kick a soccer ball and it bounces off the wall or the soccer field, what actually happens is that there is a sort of compression that happens at the point of impact, which increases the pressure inside the ball, and that's actually what makes it to bounce. Okay? That's an interesting thing that most players don't even realize, even professional players.
Now, you've written this book that talks about the connection between science and sports. Who are you hoping to reach with this book, The Physics of Soccer?
When I started writing the book, the target was originally for teenage players. because I have raised two boys who played soccer. But as I got more and more into it, I found that it could be very beneficial to coaches, to parents, because then they can understand better the thinking process involved, as well as professional players who can better understand what they normally do, to understand the sign between what they do and what actually happens on the soccer field.
And actually, this is, one of those secrets that players might want to discover just to give you that special edge over other players and other teams.
Exactly. You play soccer as a thinking game, not just a physical game. When I was playing, I would always try to feel out the other opponents, to try and figure out what they will be thinking. And over a few minutes, I can figure out how a particular player behaves. If the ball goes to his right or to his left, and that helps me to make adjustments in my own playing.
Of course, right now, the world is soccer crazy with the World Cup in South Africa. Do you have a particular favorite team you're rooting for?
Of course.
Who are you rooting for?
I have two favorite teams. Of course, the United States and Nigeria.
Okay.
And those two teams have been doing very, very well in international soccer.
Well, we will see how they do. Dr. Badiro, we should probably give a copy of your book to everybody on the USA soccer team.
I think we should, and also the players in Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm very glad to be here.
From the physics of soccer to the movement of soccer, renowned Boston-based artist Paul Goodnight has created art that connects it all.